ES Anime here. Today I'm going to explain a supernatural action series called Ghost Messenger. Watch out and take care. When a person dies, he departs from the mortal world and enters the world of death. However, some restless spirits defy this natural law and refuse to leave the physical realm. When this happens, ghost messengers are summoned to bring them to the other world. Little Kanglam may look like your average introverted student, but he possesses an extraordinary ability. One day, a boy named Daesu from the next class begs for his help. Weird things have been happening to him and his friends. It started a few days ago when, on his way home, his friend picked up a strange cell phone near a construction site. Struck with curiosity, his friend tried to turn it on. But instead of getting a shiny new phone, the boy got himself into a coma, as though the phone had sucked his soul. Then, another kid found it. When she tried to use the phone, a ghost came out, scaring her off. Lastly, Daesu saw the strange phone floating in the air, which almost scared him to death. Daesu knows little Kanglam has spiritual powers, so he gives the phone to him, begging him solve the mystery. While the kids are frightened by the story, the boy seems unbothered by it. In fact, little hustler Kanglam simply demands an expensive fee in exchange for his services. When school ends, the Lil Ghostbuster goes home. He lives with his grandfather, and they run an antique shop together. The Ghost Messenger's command center is a highly digitalized place. They use advanced technologies to locate and monitor wandering spirits in the physical realm. The Ghost Messengers are led by their competent head commander, Bari. They detect an urgent report about a spirit that will presumably haunt a place, and Bari starts panicking when she learns that a certain Ghost Messenger named Kanglam is supposed to report it to the higher-ups. It seems like Kanglam can't do the report, so Bari decides to cover for him. Another Kanglam, huh? As for little Kanglam, the boy's browsing on his computer when some spirit bugs decide to bother him. He's shocked to see how much they've multiplied, but this doesn't stop him from trying to swat the annoying critters away. If anyone else saw him right now, they'd think he's nuts since these spirits aren't visible to the naked eye. Little Kanglam, however, has been seeing them ever since he was a baby. His mother also had the same ability, and she always scolded him, telling him not to play with these creatures. It's not because his mother was weirded out. She was just worried for his safety. After all, having the ability to see spirits isn't normal. She used to blame herself for passing on this power to him. That's why little Kanglam tried to ignore every spiritual creature he saw growing up. But doing that isn't easy. They even look like lanterns sometimes. That night, after having dinner with his grandfather, little Kanglam is trying to figure out how the strange cell phone works. The phone looks out of date, so it confuses him. But the moment he touches it, he's startled to feel the spirit energy on the thing, confirming that it really is haunted. After a while, he successfully turns it on, and inside it, the body of a mysterious boy is being reconstructed. After fiddling with the phone some more, little Kanglam manages to activate the camera. Surprisingly, he discovers that the bug spirits are visible through it. He takes a picture of the spirit bug, only for it to disappear. He gets even more excited when he discovers that the phone can trap the spirit inside it when it captures the image, then release it when he clicks the camera again. It frightens the bug spirits, so the little terror keeps playing around with it and messing with the poor creatures. Payback time. But while he's horsing around, little Kanglam receives a message, shocking him. "Let me out," the text says. At first, he suspects that the message is from the bug spirit he captured, but it's unlikely. Do these bugs even know how to text? He then sees another message. This time, it says, "I'm trapped." Photo. He figures that the messages are from the spirit haunting the phone, so he looks through the gallery and discovers the photo of the three students Daesu mentioned. It seems Daesu was actually the one who took the picture, and he lied for fear of getting blamed. There's also a picture of a man, along with many puppy spirit images. He wonders which of them he should break free. The following day at school, little Kanglam watches the three students previously trapped in the phone going to school and lashing out at Daesu. Looks like he chose to let the three students out. When he gets home, he refuses to have dinner, much to his grandfather's disappointment. While alone in his room, he releases the spirit from the phone and gets flustered when a boy comes out. The mysterious boy quickly attempts to take his soul phone, making little Kanglam put him back inside out of shock. So that's what it's called, a soul phone. The boy gets annoyed over being trapped inside his soul phone again. He begs little Kanglam to let him out, and every word he says is translated into texts. Unfortunately for the spirit, a stroke of mischief strikes little Kanglam. He denies his request and asks for his identity instead. The boy says he's a kind person, no, a soul, that captures bad spirits. However, little Kanglum only mocks him for being the one who is trapped inside the phone, irritating the boy. It is then revealed that the mysterious boy was on a mission to capture evil puppy spirits. After successfully putting them all inside his soul phone, he encountered the mother dog spirit, eager to tear him apart. As he fought the giant dog, he transformed the soul phone into a sword. He made a powerful attack that tore the dog in half, but it wasn't enough to defeat it. When the bodies merged back, the dog tossed him and his weapon away. And at that jumble of events, he accidentally took a selfie with his soul phone. And as we've all come to see, soul phone plus taking pictures equals trapped soul. Evidently, ghost messengers aren't immune to that. The boy warns little Kanglum not to free those puppies, but being the stubborn kid that he is, little Kanglum does the exact opposite and releases the puppies. As he plays with them, he wonders if these cute little things are really dangerous. He doesn't notice that one puppy is already glaring at the bug spirits like it's ready to maul them. The following day after school, little Kanglum goes to the construction site where the soul phone was found. He immediately takes it out and scans the place using the gadget. To his terror, the mother dog spirit is on top of the building, guarding the place. The fear reminds him of his mother's words, to pretend like he's not seeing the things that are invisible to ordinary people. His mother begged him to remember her words before she was devoured by an unidentified being. Seeing this large threat before him, little Kanglum hurries back home as he remembers his grandfather, who might be in danger. Meanwhile, in little Kanglum's room, the puppies are already attacking the bug spirits. Upon the boy's arrival, he's relieved to see that his Gramps is safe in their antique shop, and he warns him not to go upstairs. He dashes to his room, where he's greeted by the mess that the puppy spirits had left behind. Just when he thought that they had gone, a merged spirit of the puppies shows up from behind. They unmerge and attempt to attack him, but when they hear their mother's howls, they immediately escape through the window. Realizing the grave mistake he had made, he immediately reports it to the boy inside the phone and releases him. As he is explaining what happened, the boy suddenly slaps him. Caught off guard, little Kanglum falls silent as the boy castigates him for releasing the spirit puppies, telling him that his stubbornness might put more people in danger. The boy then confiscates the soul phone and warns little Kanglum never to interfere with the spirits again. He goes on to track the evil spirits in his soul phone, leaving the stunned little Kanglum in his room. Against his grandson's wishes, the grandfather goes to his room, and worry fills him when he sees his grandson's messy room. As little Kanglum comes back to his senses, he decides to follow the boy and heads to the construction site. He reminds his grandfather to stay in the sanctuary until he comes back. At the construction site, the puppies reunite with their mother just in time for the boy to arrive and see the mother spirit growing and becoming stronger. Upon seeing him, the huge dog immediately attacks, which prompts the boy to set up walls around them, forming a sanctuary. This sanctuary will help prevent the evil spirit from running away. Then, using his soul phone, he summons two large fish spirits to fight against the mother dog. Elsewhere, Bari has now disguised herself as a human, and she notices the weak connection on her phone. She immediately realizes that it must be because of a sanctuary. When little Kanglum arrives at the construction site, he's immediately amazed by the huge sanctuary. Just as he's about to touch it, some of the blocks suddenly open for him. He slowly enters through the opening, and when the walls close behind him, he is almost hit by the head of the fish accidentally thrown in his way. He then witnesses the boy fighting against the mother dog. Although the boy can dodge the enemy's attacks, it's clear that he's struggling to defeat the enormous hound. While dodging a pile of metal sticks flung toward him, he notices little Kanglum and is surprised by his presence. When the dog spots little Kanglum, it throws a bulldozer toward him, spurring the boy to protect the kid by summoning large frog spirits this time. He instructs little Kanglum to hide somewhere while he faces the dog once again. Using his soul phone, he releases a gigantic robot holding a giant scroll that slowly forces the dog to transform to its normal spirit form, so it's easier for the boy to defeat it. The dog shrinks back to its normal form, but it abruptly attacks the boy, making him drop his phone on the ground. As the dog attempts to snatch the phone, little Kanglum dashes toward it. Before the dog spirit can attack him, he activates the phone to finally capture the spirit. When the dog disappears, the boy immediately checks in on the kid, who's still a little dizzy from the altercation. The boy praises little Kanglum, who then asks about the spirits. The boy explains that they are vengeful animal spirits unable to abandon their regrets from the world of the living. When asked about his identity, The boy answers ambiguously that he's a being everyone has to meet at least once in their lifetime. He refuses to divulge more, saying that little Kanglum should be oblivious about him for now. The ghost messenger points out the kid's extraordinary spiritual power but advises him to forget what just happened as it's something a human shouldn't experience. Now, he's demanding to have his soul phone back since it's not something that little Kanglum can handle. Oh, boy. Sweet boy. Rule number 1 of dealing with kids: find a different way to phrase, "No, you can't have this thing because you can't handle it." In any case, it could be that his words challenged little Kanglum, or maybe he's just curious about the boy's identity. Either way, little Kanglum refuses to surrender the soul phone and instead traps the boy back inside. What a kid. 2 weeks later, Bari is seen in a cafe, looking at the photos of the mysterious boy on her soul phone. It turns out that the boy is the ghost messenger named Kanglum, who she has been looking for. Since he's been missing in action, Bari's covering up for him by doing reports in his stead. She looks annoyed, so she entertains herself by shopping and buying clothes. After her tiring day of shopping, she suddenly receives a call from work, and she panics to see that it's her supervisor, Mago. Mago is at her office, invading her computer to look for the reports that were supposed to be submitted by Kanglum. Although Mago finds that she has already done the reports herself, she gets intrigued when she discovers a secret file. The tension worsens when Mago becomes more suspicious after learning the file is multi-password protected. Bari's clearly hiding something, and soon enough, Mago finally accesses the file. But to the supervisor's disappointment, the file just contains a bunch of shopping items. Bari is relieved, seeing as there's another secret file that she's been hiding. At night, little Kanglum is in the amusement park, and he's tracking down a large octopus spirit. He lures it to an enclosed space, where he lets Kanglum out before it can attack him. Poor Kanglum has to keep his annoyance in check. What is he, a Pokemon? Kanglum, I choose you. As much as he wants to deal with the kid's arrogance, he must first deal with the enemy, who has released several bat spirits to attack them. The boys work together to capture the bats one by one. While the ghost messenger can produce power in his hands, little Kanglum uses the soul phone to capture the bats. Seeing that all the bats are already caught, the octopus spirit decides to attack. It weakens while rushing towards the boys, giving them the chance to defeat it with a kick. Now that they have trapped all the spirits in the soul phone, little Kanglum immediately attempts to confine the ghost messenger back to the device. However, he's determined not to be outsmarted by a kid again, so he easily dodges the phone until it suddenly stops working. This surprises little Kanglum, giving its owner the chance to take it back from him. The soul phone, like any other gadget, has limited memory capacity. It stopped working because its memory is already full. This makes little Kanglum feel vulnerable as he no longer has the phone. He downplays his fears since he still doubts whether the guy he's been messing with is really a ghost messenger, but Kanglum can see right through the boy's bravado. He knows he's frightened, so he decides to give the kid a little scare by suddenly transforming into a slimy monster. His transformation shocks little Kanglum so much that he immediately runs for the hills. In the kid's mind, this just confirmed that he messed with a strong spiritual being. When he gets home, the troubled boy immediately commands his grandfather not to leave the house. The hours do nothing to soothe little Kanglum's troubles, and even when night falls, the kid can't sleep. He can't stop worrying about the fact that he encountered a powerful creature. Little Kanglum goes downstairs to watch his grandfather sleeping soundly. He stares lovingly at him, and when the thought of the ghost messenger crosses his mind, he suddenly grows alert. "I will keep Grandpa safe," he promises. Little Kanglum's fears and worries don't stop plaguing him, making him grow irritable, even at school. His mood worsens when Desu shows him flyers of shamans with the same name as him. Desu's a bit taken aback by this since his classmate isn't usually this cross. Back at the antique shop, a strange person arrives. He looks around the place, mumbling about how it smells of the foul odor of the dead. When little Kanglum's grandfather realizes that the man can see him, he suddenly transforms into a vengeful spirit. The grandfather has been long dead, and the man who came in is a ghost messenger, ready to put him out of his overdue existence. He attempts to fight off the ghost messenger, but in the end, he ends up captured by the soul phone. While he's getting sucked into the device, the only thing grandfather can think of is his grandson. It saddens him to leave little Kanglum all alone. When the boy gets home after school, he's terrified to see the shop in shambles, and his grandfather is nowhere to be found. Fear and panic overtake him, and seeing the tools he used to secure his grandfather, Little Kanglum suspects that the ghost messenger Kanglum was the one who captured his Gramps. Meanwhile, Kanglum is in his hideout, troubled by his malfunctioning soul phone, when the other ghost messenger arrives. His name is Sarah, and he works for a special agency that inspects the activities of ghost messengers. And now, he's there to capture Kanglum since he's been unreachable for some time now. Without even listening to his explanation, Sarah mercilessly attacks him. By the time little Kanglum arrives, Sarah's spirit monster is already choking Kanglum. The two Kanglums are surprised to see each other, and Sarah himself is shocked that a human can see everything. He uses his powers to bind the kid before he can run. When Sarah finally recognizes little Kanglum, he announces that he's the one who took his grandfather away. Learning this infuriates the boy, so he bites Sarah's arm, spurring the ghost messenger to slap him. Sarah is fuming, pissed that a mere human can injure him. Kanglum uses the opportunity to escape Sarah's spirit underling, and to do this, he turns half of his body into a ghost, making it look like he's been possessed. Sarah quickly attacks Kanglum with his spiritual gun, weakening him. But he gets distracted by little Kanglum, who tries to injure him again using Kanglum's soul phone. This gives Kanglum the chance to regain his strength, and he immediately strikes at Sarah using his spiritual powers. With these two nuisances teaming up, Sarah backs out, and Kanglum plans on going after him. But before he can embark, a shaken-up little Kanglum stops him, begging for his help to return his grandfather. The young boy is forced to confess that he tied his grandfather's soul to the human realm, which shocks and infuriates the ghost messenger all at once. Little Kanglum fully recedes to the hurt and vulnerable boy that he is as he admits that he did it because he was too lonely when his grandfather died. The man had always been there for him, with him since the beginning. With him gone, little Kanglum will be fully alone, and he can't bear that. In the face of the boy's vulnerability, Kanglum angrily tells him that when someone can't let go of the dead, binding them only causes agony to the deceased. This is why he refuses to help the kid. Loss is hard for the bereaved, but it's equally agonizing for the restless spirit to remain in the physical realm. While Kanglum's convincing the kid to leave, a huge snake spirit suddenly drags him down to a sanctuary of the abyss. He immediately converts his soul phone to a sword and slices the snake until it melts into the lake of fire beneath them. Sarah appears before him, and he challenges Kanglum to another duel. Though Kanglum's worried about his phone, he maintains an air of confidence as he accepts the challenge. He fights Sarah with all his might, and the two spirit messengers deal bursts of spiritual power one after another. They seem to be equal in strength, and neither of them would be caught dead slipping. Sarah unleashes his next move, where he summons a titan of a centauric creature that dwarfs Kanglum whole. But he isn't fazed by this at all, and with an amused look on his face, he summons massive fish spirits to defeat Sarah's own. Muda Muda. Kanglum's about to attack again when he notices that the sanctuary is also closing. In the physical world, a still vulnerable Kanglum watches as the portal begins to close. With his mounting helplessness and desperation, the lost kid can only wonder if he can meet his grandpa again if he enters the sanctuary. Even if he doesn't know what will happen, he takes the plunge before he loses his chance. Little Kanglum takes a step inside, but the moment he does, his spirit is ripped out of his body and he falls. He falls into a deep body of water. Little Kanglum sinks deeper and deeper, and surrounding him are memories of him and his grandfather. Starting from when he was born into this world, when he met himself with a name that he never chose. He and his grandfather, they had so many beautiful and happy memories together. Even when little Kanglum was alone, he always had his grandfather's hand to hold. He never wanted to let it go. Little Kanglum falls unconscious in the waters, but he soon resurfaces and awakens. When he looks around, he's in an unfamiliar place. It's the realm of the ghost messengers. This is where little Kanglum's story, as we know it, ends. What happens to him, whether he'll meet his grandfather again, who Kanglum really is, we won't know. But from the beginning until the end, little Kanglum was a boy who could never let go. He may be a boy who's lived his life in solitude, but he was always scared of being alone. His decision was reckless, but it's hard to fault the bereaved child. After all, what's life if not a way to nurse the curse of loneliness? Thanks for watching this recap. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to ES Anime if you haven't already. See you on the next one. Bye.